let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
Stop sucking!
That's the signal!
Go! Drop fence!
It's beautiful!
Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Let's get the week started off right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you here on a Monday. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com and the Rush Radio Android app or the TuneIn app, thank you so much for finding us this morning and coming back to us each and every day. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, start leaving your comments in the comments section, and play along with the Rush Radio family as they do each and every day. And it is a family here at the Rush Radio Show. You can follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Let's bring in the man of the hour, the man, the myth, the legend. He's my friend. He's your friend. It is the one, the only Ross Peterson. Good morning, sir.
What's up, bud? How was the weekend? Fun one?
You know, it was a good weekend. You know, my wife and I were talking last night that we actually had a productive weekend, even mixed in, of course, a lot of college football with the Iowa game and Iowa State game. We'll get to that in a little bit. But for the most part, a good, productive weekend. So yeah, it was. I don't feel the best. I got some. I had some wine last night. I was over at our buddy Pat's house last night, and I was on the throne this morning already a little bit. Yeah,
dude, wine does that to me lately. I think we're getting. I think conspiracy theory. We're getting tainted wine here in the States.
Well.
And you drink different wine than I do, though.
Well, we had 2 bottles from Italy that we brought over, and I never, ever get sick on Italian wine, ever. And
see, my Costco wine, never hurts me.
That's the secret? Go with the Costco wine.
Kirkland.
Oh, dude, I went to Costco yesterday, and I don't mean to stereotype. I don't mean to judge. I don't mean to throw this out there. But we went to Costco on Saturday. We went to Costco on Sunday. It was a two Costco trip. That's right. Now Saturday was for kind of our normal things, our weekly stuff. Yesterday we were like, hey, let's bring they have a pumpkin cheesecake at Costco, and I said, let's bring that out to Pat and Amy. So we ran out to Costco. There's a difference, Ross, in morning shoppers and afternoon shoppers.
You're going to have to explain to me. I get
clientele.
Yeah, well, I figured that's what you were getting at here, but which I can only guess. Now, okay. My brain's going 2 different ways. Sunday morning.
No, it was Sunday afternoon. I went Saturday morning.
Okay.
I was amongst my people.
That's right.
Sunday afternoon, I'm like,
this is Walmart.
That's exactly. I go to Ange. I go to my wife. I go, this is a Sam's Club crowd. This is different.
This is a Sam's Club crowd.
I'm like, this isn't what we came to yesterday. This is a completely different clientele. Not that there's anything wrong with it. People got to shop at Costco. I just it was something I noticed, and I'm like,
I've not experienced that with Costco. Not experienced that. Okay.
We have 3 Costcos here. 3. And we went to our non-traditional one on Saturday and Sunday. We usually go clear out by my office because that's my wife's favorite one. But we went to the first one. And
the first one?
Yeah, the first one. And again,
we learned our lesson. We'll never go to the first one again.
No, we'll go back there because it's actually the closest one to the house. But I'm like, okay, Sunday afternoon's not the day to go.
See, so we have 2 of them. One's in West Des Moines out in Jordan Creek, and the other one's up in Ankeny. And those are both pretty bougie neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's a part of it.
Might be. I'm
Sam's
not a bougie
Club is
guy.
in a little bit more of like town. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, after the Black and Gold Rush the other night, you went to the Eric Church concert. And you didn't like it. You didn't like it.
Why you got to say that?
Because I got a text from you going, dude.
This is not my type of music.
Country music in general, or Eric Church?
Country music in general, but it was odd. It was kind of odd. First of all, Travis, it's important when you go to that was one of those shows where people were like, oh, I was like, I've never heard an Eric Church song. They're like, oh, you're going to know so many songs. I knew one song.
Which song was it? Beer in My Hand?
No.
Talladega?
No, I don't think you heard that. It was like and it took me, I only knew it's drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke.
Yep. Drink a little drink,
I only know,
smoke.
I've only heard that. You know what I mean? I don't think it's that good of a song. I was like, not for me. Well, I got tickets for Courtney and her friend to go, and then her friend backed out, and Courtney had made a few different phone calls to try to get people to go with her, and pretty soon she's like, hey, I can't get anybody to go with me. I'm like, all right, well, when the show gets over, we'll run down there. But my expectation, I don't know this artist. Yeah, you're gonna know more songs. You're gonna know more songs than you think.
And I even told you that. You're like,
everybody. You're gonna know so many songs. I knew one song. And again, I know 4 words of it, so it wasn't even like I know the song. The song started, and Courtney kind of kept looking at me, and I was like, "What is she looking at me for?" And then pretty soon the chorus, and I was like, "Oh, I know that part."
Finally, I know this song. Was the Casey Center packed?
Not packed. I mean, he comes a lot, I think. And this, man, so Travis, it was weird, though. It started with like 20 minutes of Pink Floyd. They played like...
Did they have a laser light show and people start smoking weed?
They had like 20 minutes of Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh.
I loved it. That was my favorite part of the show.
And this is going to make a lot of music people unhappy. I'm not a Pink Floyd fan. Never been a Pink Floyd fan.
Yeah, I am. And I think they're fantastic music, and we put them in that big sound system like that, and you can hear I was loving it. And then he came out, and he's very like, Eric Church is very like,
in your face?
Oh, not in your face, but man, he's like, oh, I'm angry about my hometown. I'm angry about America. I'm angry about love. It just was, he wore sunglasses the whole time.
Yeah.
One time he went like this. And the crowd went, wow! He sang a song called Hometown, and somebody gave him an Iowa flag. And so he held the Iowa flag under the microphone. He sang about his hometown, and he took it, wrapped it around his neck, and he sang with it around his neck.
And you even got the country draw going in your accent right now.
I can fake it as well as he can. Tell you that.
Now he is from North Carolina, so he probably has a little bit of it naturally.
He does. But to me, country music is just all pandering. I mean,
is Eric Church bro country? Do you think it's bro? Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Your look pierced me.
Like not yes, hell yes.
Hell yes.
Not yes, not he is.
The epitome of bro country?
I think so.
Okay.
So it was not for me. I tried to call Williams yesterday because I wanted to chat with him because he's a huge Church fan. And I called him and left him a message, said, hey, give me a call. I want to chat with you about this because I really want to know if that is. I got the impression that like Eric Church is like, I don't know how I say this. Eric Church seemed like he was intense. Let's just say that.
Intense?
There was a lot of energy there at the show. I don't know what that's about, but it was odd. It was just it was not what I expected.
Did you stay for the whole thing?
Once he wrapped the American flag around his neck, Courtney looked at me and said, do you want to go? Or the Iowa flag. And I was like, yeah, when this song's over, we can go.
I do want to thank our winners because we gave away a couple pair of tickets last week. I hope you had fun at the Eric Church show. I know our good buddy Mick, who skipped out on some of his All Iowa Jeep show, went there, and he pointed out that he played his new album in its entirety. Did he have a couple sets?
Oh, see, I wouldn't have known that. So that would make sense why I didn't know any of the songs.
Yeah. So I guess he said his first set was like his entire album.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But you know, I like artists who get it, and what I mean by that is artists who get it they want to hear the hits. people want to hear the hits. When you go to a show, you want to hear songs you know, you want to sing along. Totally get that. But yeah, so I'm glad you went.
It was
even though it wasn't for you.
I love, and by the way, that was my first time in the Casey's Center with the Casey's. Dude,
oh
I love
yeah,
it. I think it's really cool. I love that it's Casey's so much more than Wells Fargo. I love it. I worked at Wells Fargo. I didn't like that place. Casey's is local. It's owned and operated. Locally owned and operated. It's employs a whole bunch of local people. It has so much more of a connection to Iowa than freaking Wells Fargo. So this whole thing where people are like, oh, I'm still going to call it Wells Fargo. Oh, okay. All right, cool. Nameless, faceless international corporation. Sure.
Yeah, it's getting easier and easier to call it the Casey Center because it flows off the tongue. It's easy. Did you see where Sarah?
By the way, I don't know a single person that works at Wells Fargo that likes the place. So
you see where Sarah said they left 7 songs in, didn't know one word to any song, so they left.
I didn't. So I'm glad Mick shared the thing earlier because I didn't. Again, I don't know his music well enough to know. I didn't know what I was listening to. I didn't know that they were old songs. It was very intense. Dude, it was a full orchestra.
Well, I noticed how many people he had up there. I'm like,
he had
damn.
10 tour buses lined up on 2nd Avenue.
Wow.
10 of them. And then like 6 violinists. I'd say maybe 8 or 9 backup singers. It was a production, dude. It was a major production.
This started on the Black and Gold Rush Saturday night. We didn't get to it because that's an Iowa call-in show, and it's all about college football, and we didn't divert. But Charlie says, I thought we'd get the show off and running with Ian Roberts this morning.
Oh, boy. We can we can chat about this if you want.
Let's go down the rabbit hole.
All right, well,
let's go down the rabbit hole.
Let's be respectful in this conversation, okay? Because we don't know. There's a lot of unknowns right now, okay? A lot of unknowns. And I want to caution everybody about jumping onto either side of this. I really do, because there's no reason to. We're going to find out everything that we need to find out. I hope we're going to get Sergeant Paul Parizek on with us tomorrow morning to chat with us. He wanted to get another 24 hours on to kind of get a handle on some of the facts of this story, because right now there's a lot of stuff out there on both sides that is not true. I shouldn't say that. That we don't know. We don't know what is true and what isn't. And I do think that part of that goes back to local reporting, and part of that seems to go back onto Dr. Ian Roberts, because and maybe there's been something lost in communication over the years. But you can find articles from 2023 when he was hired from the Register and from WHO TV 13. I mean, it's simple Google search of those if you Google Dr. Ian Roberts, Des Moines Register, Brooklyn native, that's how the Des Moines Register reported him and introduced him to the community back in 2023. And then WHO TV 13 picked up on that exact same line and published that same story. Brooklyn native Dr. Ian Roberts. So maybe that's true. Maybe he's actually a Brooklyn native, and then this whole thing is weird. Because then you can't be an illegal alien if you're born in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
But maybe there was something lost in translation. Maybe he was born in Guyana and then moved here at an early age and was raised in Brooklyn, and so then he was saying that he was raised in Brooklyn, and they actually put Brooklyn native. That there's innocent ways that these inconsistencies can be explained, and so we need to slow down. Right away, the first word that I got, Dr. Ian Roberts has been arrested by ICE. My first thought, Travis, because I've met this guy. I've met Dr. Ian Roberts last July at the East High School alumni banquet that I host every year. He was our keynote speaker. I got a chance to shake his hand, look him in the eye, talk to him for 30 seconds, and I was really impressed. Really impressive guy. Okay, that's it. That was my interaction with him. And I thought when I heard the news on Friday that he'd been arrested or detained by ICE, my first thought was he probably was protecting kids. I really did. I thought, I bet he told ICE, you don't get to come into one of our buildings, or stood in the way of something, and they detained him for interference of illegal acts. That was my first thought. Totally wrong. And we'll let Sergeant Parizek give us the details of how it got to the point that they were trying to pull him over. But he runs from the cops, okay? And
What'd you tell your kids?
I tell my kids, you'll never have a leader run from the cops. Never.
And if you're innocent,
you'll never look up to somebody who runs from the cops. Now, I know there are people that don't like the cops, and I'm sure Ray's going to weigh in with all of his La Raza stuff and all that. That's not... People that are community leaders, people that don't think that they have anything to hide from, do not run from the cops. Period. And when you do run from the cops and you've got a loaded Glock and you've got a large fixed blade knife
and $3,000 cash,
$3,000 cash, now you start to put some things in it where it goes, ee. If you don't hear that and go, ooh, then I think that you've got some reassessing to do. If you think that the cops are always the bad guys, I would say you got to reassess that, man, because most of the time they're there to help the innocent people. They're there to keep our community safe. They don't just usually, are there cases of bad actors out there? 100%. And cops will tell you this too. The worst part of cops is they're human, and some of them are bad. Bad at their job, bad morals. But for the majority, that's not the case. When a white-collar criminal is arrested, very rarely do they run from the cops. I would even say this. Name an authority figure in your life that you would respect that has run from the cops. Name a community leader that you can remember in your life that ran from the cops.
I can't.
You can't. You can't. And so that was the first thing I heard. I'm like, wait, he ran from the cops. But again, I come from that world of respecting authority, holding cops in high regard. I mean, and by the way, smart enough to know I can't get away from them. So if they come after me, I'm like, okay, yeah, what do we got to talk about here, boys? I haven't done too much wrong. So right away, what happened is you've got people that just because of politics are going to jump on both sides of this. And I'm really disappointed in my buddy Mike Draper down at Raygun, man. This thing of fuck all ICE agents and things like that, this isn't helping anybody. We are turning up the heat. An ICE facility was sniped at over the weekend. ICE agents are wearing masks because they're getting doxxed. When they go and try to clean up a community or do whatever words you want to put on it, people are taking pictures of them and then putting their faces, names, and their families online. So now they've got to cover up. So now you've got people going, you can't do that. You can't be running into communities with your faces covered up. They have to. They have to. We've got to tone down the rhetoric and the hate. Like I said, Mike's my buddy. I like Mike. I shop at Raygun all the time. I saw that post this weekend, and I was like, man, this is bad timing. This only adds fuel to the fire. We don't know the details yet, and you're picking a side in a major way to say, fuck ICE agents, fuck all ICE agents. What? What if there are bad people in our community that are here illegally? Is that possible? Let's start with that. Is it possible that we have people in our community here illegally that shouldn't be here?
It's not just possible; it's a fact.
Thank you, Travis. So then what? Fuck the people that want to get them out of here?
It's interesting, Ross. Over here, we just had 3 hotels that were raided by ICE and the FBI because you had illegals who were running child trafficking rings out of hotels located right on I-80. Do you not want to bust those? Do you not want those busted? I mean,
Do we have bad actors in our community that are here illegally? You and I both agree. The answer to that is not only maybe, it's absolutely. Yes, you do. And so you've got to have people that can go and find them and get them out of our community to keep our community safe.
I did, I texted you on Saturday morning. I said, did you notice Rob Sand has sat this one out? And he finally last night put out a statement, which I thought, now it's riding the fence, but I'm riding the fence on this. So do I. And he pointed out a lot of things, because my wife and I were talking about it last night. I said, I don't have an opinion yet because I don't think we have all the facts. I said the weird thing to me on this is, and it's one of my favorite movies, it's the Tom Hanks, Leonardo DiCaprio movie of Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can. What a good one.
Catch Me If You Can, where Frank Abagnale basically lived multiple lives by lying his way through and convincing people that he was a certain person. And then the truth eventually catches up with you. You can only run and hide for so long. Now, I'm not saying that's what happens here, but I go, you start looking at things and you're like, wow, this is weird. I'm not jumping in. But you sent me, a Twitter string or an X string of a lawyer out in California who did basic research, and she's a lawyer, so she may have more access to some information, but you just start going through it, you're like, this is bizarre. And you mentioned things, with the track records that the Des Moines Public Schools has had with its superintendents.
Dude,
I don't ever want to hear a TV news station or a newspaper talk about their investigative work. All people in power, especially from a public level, should be investigated. And what I mean by, you not saying you have to do a story on it, but you start going, hey, let's find out who this person really is. Right?
I think that the Brooklyn native thing, repeated by the Des Moines Register and WHO TV 13, and then presented to our community as fact. Because those are news outlets. They're not. It's not some opinion idiot radio show.
No,
those are news outlets.
You took the school board's thing and said, well, that's fact, and didn't follow up on it.
Yes. Didn't push on anything. Said, all right, yeah, you guys said this thing, you bet. Yeah, what'd you say? Go ahead. This is how local news, this is how local reporters work. What's the story? Okay, we'll print that. You know why, Travis? Do you know why? Because that's easy. You get your name in the paper.
You're fed the line.
Yeah. You get on TV and you say the thing that they said to say.
I know there's a lot of people upset about the $300,000 salary, and you're like, can we talk?
Yeah, me too.
And I get it. For a school Des Moines size, that's fairly common. But
hold on. I don't care about the school size. I care about the performance.
That's fair.
I don't care how many employees you have. I care how much money your business makes, and that should dictate how much your CEO makes. And by the way, to compare this to a private organization is the wrong thing to do also. This is not a private organization, private company that produces a product. It's a school board. It's a school system, and a public school system at that, and a failing one. Because here's some real info. Last week, before this ever happened, speaking of WHO TV 13, they released a report saying, hey, a report just came out about the most underperforming schools in the state, Travis. 5%. The bottom 5% of schools that are failing in the state of Iowa, 12 of them are in the Des Moines public school system, Travis. 12 of the bottom 5% of schools are.
So that's like the entire 5%?
Not quite. The entire 5% is like 30-some schools.
Okay.
But a third of those schools are in one school district. You're by far the lowest performing school district in the state of Iowa. That now this is where I go, whoa, what? And we're paying the guy that they haven't improved it. He's got it. He apparently has a plan, and I've seen some of that stuff. And again, I really was impressed with Dr. Ian Roberts, and I hope that some of this stuff comes out that, man, it was misunderstanding and miscommunication, and this is the way this is going to go. That's how I hope this plays out. There's lots of weird stuff, dude.
Lots of weird stuff. And
How about this? Again, it just gets stranger. He was at his previous job experience that you can find everywhere is that he was at the Mill Creek School District. Well, there's all sorts of articles from July of this year or July of 2023. I'm sorry, the year that we hired him. As Superintendent exited, Mill Creek Schools paid $250,000 settlement to ex-personnel chief. $66,000 deal to end third discrimination case linked to ex-Mill Creek Schools superintendent. In another settlement, Mill Creek Schools pays $87,500 to end claim of gender discrimination. Now, that last one, it does. I was going to say that last one I don't think specifically references. It does. I'm sorry. The Mill Creek Township School District is again spending tens of thousands of dollars to resolve a personnel issue that arose during the administration of then Superintendent Ian Roberts. The district is paid $87,500 to settle the gender discrimination claims of a former administrator who was demoted and then passed over for 2 principal positions in the staff restructuring under Roberts, according to a settlement agreement. Now, I don't know. This is why I say from the minute it starts, everybody, let's slow down. There's no reason. There certainly shouldn't be going down and protesting ICE. We don't know who this is. I met the guy also and shook his hand and looked him in the eye, and I was very impressed.
And you
with
liked
the guy.
him.
I liked him. What does that mean? Like, I've seen that a lot. Oh, I looked into his soul. I know what type of human he is because I got a chance to peer into his soul. You don't know him like I know him. You haven't spent those quality 45 seconds with him that I did. Chill out. Is it possible that this is all a misunderstanding and that he should be back in there? Yes. Is it possible that he isn't who he presented himself to be? Possible. I can't imagine a dude doing the catch me if you can to this level. I can't. Because if
he did, that's impressive.
If you're a con man, you don't want to be in the public light. You don't want people publishing articles about you. If you're lying about your birthplace, you're not going to go out and try to get this stuff in the newspapers. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the story is. Here's what I'm waiting for. Reached out to Sergeant Paul Parizek, our public information officer with the Des Moines Police Department. I've said, hey, can you come on and join us and tell us what you know about this situation? I will say this too, Travis. I worry. I worry about how divisive we are right now and what will come of this.
That's fair. That's 100% fair.
We've already decided our teams. There is no information. In fact, any information that goes against what you say, people go, oh, well, that's just a lie. You're part of a psyop. Ray's favorite word in the chat. You're part of a psyop. I've never been lied to about anything. You? Pfft. Okay. I've also told my kids this because, and not in this context, in the context of just, you're never going to change somebody's mind. Never. You have to let other people change their mind.
That's true.
You have to allow people the space to change their mind. And you don't allow people the space to change their mind if you're telling them they're a moron if they don't agree with you. People don't like that. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants to hear about that. It's easier to be lied to than to be convinced you've been lied to. That's another very true thing.
Because people want to hold on to their convictions and their beliefs. They want to hold on to it.
And the good.
Yes.
So, Trav, I don't know. I don't know what's going to come of this. We're going to find out more information. Hopefully, we'll find out more about how these inconsistencies showed up. We'll find out more about if he's here illegally, how did he pass a background check? If he is here legally, if he was born in Brooklyn, how did he end up on a there's things we got to figure out.
If you're born in Brooklyn, you're a U.S. citizen.
And so our system, no matter what, our system is broken. No matter what the truth is, our system is broken. If we get a guy that gets to this position and people look around and go, wait, we don't even know who he is. I saw one thing that was like, I don't even think this guy has a PhD. I did some searching last night. I did find that there's several online sources that show he has his PhD in basically in education, and it's like it's a specialized part of education, but he got it from Trident University.
I hear the word Trident, I think of the movie Anchorman. Is that a Trident?
And again, there would be people that will be used as something. People are going to start screaming and yelling about that because it's an online university. It's got some accreditation issues, you know what I mean? But what does that mean? Does it mean he doesn't have a PhD? No.
No.
Does it mean he's not a smart man? No. He did go to a lot of different colleges. He's in the Hall of Fame at Coppin State because that's where he ran his track and field, and he did compete in the 2000 Olympics for Guyana. But again, that little piece of information doesn't mean anything. Because some people will go, well, if he competed for Guyana, he's obviously was born in Guyana and he is here illegally.
No.
Sean Green played baseball for Italy or whatever.
Megan Gustafson played basketball for Spain.
That's great, exactly. Born and raised in Iowa.
If you have some Spanish blood in you, you can go play for said team.
Yes. So there's so many pieces of information that are being presented as, well, this then is your definitive thing.
Yeah. There's nothing definitive.
And you got to take all of it and go, oh, man, this. And like what I keep telling everybody, the one thing I know for sure, this is interesting. This is interesting. And we should all sit back and go, all right, I'm interested in what the next piece of information that's going to come out here is, because we got to get to the bottom of it. Are we that screwed up that ICE doesn't know who's born in America? Are we that screwed up that we can hire somebody and promote somebody and do an actual background check? Because they have to do a background check.
Did you see? I saw this. The consulting firm that they used apparently scrubbed the hire from their website.
Okay, here's another thing. Why are we using a consulting firm?
Because that's what people do.
The MPS school board, you have screwed up the last 3 hires before this guy. I think that the first referendum is the Des Moines School Board. I think that's the very first thing, to say, wait a minute, how did this happen? Where are we with this? How do these processes go? And even the Des Moines School Board, I don't think, has done themselves any favors with the releases that they've put out.
Extreme empathy is what we want, Ross. Extreme empathy. 5155. Oh, go ahead.
Here's the deal. This is the most common thing right now. That framework of a conversation, all right? And it used to be the highest thing, the best thing that you could have was the moral high ground, okay? That if you could create a way in a conversation that you had the moral high ground, you were going to win that conversation. That's an old tactic. In the last couple of years, this thing has slid up above moral high ground. And that's called victim status. And so it used to be the first one that could get the moral high ground won. Now it's the first person that can claim victim status. Yeah. You can't attack me. I'm the victim. And that's what I saw from the Des Moines Public School Board these last couple of days was, hey guys, things are really bad around here. If you could just
show us some extreme empathy. You mentioned this is interesting. This will be a Netflix documentary. This has a Netflix documentary written all over it, because there'll be people nationwide who don't know about this. You'll watch this, go, wow, that's crazy.
And that's the sad thing, is that the people that are finding out about Des Moines nationwide right now, it's a laughing stock. It's like, oh my God, you kidding me?
515-517-2303. We're going to move on. We do have other things
I didn't
to
realize
talk
I took
about.
that much time. I'm sorry.
No.
You know I could do this for an hour.
But people were asking about it, and we said Saturday night we would address it on Monday morning, and we have. But there's a lot of other stuff to address, too, because a lot of stuff happened over the weekend. Iowa State, more college football coaches getting fired, some NFL action last night. I want to get Ross's take on the tiebreaker in baseball, if he likes it. All of that coming up on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
There's more Iowa in the Iowa Tap Room than you may realize. Housed in a building nearly as old as Iowa itself, the Iowa Tap Room greets you with a harvest of 120 Iowa craft beers on tap from all corners of the state. And the food doesn't get much more Iowa than this. The Iowa Tap Room, all Iowa beer, one amazing place.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff. You can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
It's game time at Willis Chevrolet of Granger. We're kicking off September with hard-hitting deals. Drive the legendary Silverado 1500 with 2.9 APR for 72 months, or lease on the 2025 Silverado 1500 Turbo Max for just $349 a month. The all-new 2026 Equinox is on the field with 1.9 APR and no payments for 90 days. Need a value-packed starter? The Chevy Trax starts in the low 20,000s. And don't forget, this is your last month to get up to $7,500 in federal tax credits on eligible electric Chevy vehicles. Stop in and see us in Granger, or visit us online at willischevy.com.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Make sure to check out the Iowa Lottery Plus app. What is the Lottery Plus app and how do you get it? Well, you just go to your Apple device, your Android device, and download the app. You can check to see if your tickets won. You can check winning numbers, see current lotto and Instaplay jackpots. And you can join the Iowa Lottery VIP Club and enter Play It Again promotion. It's the Lottery Plus app from the Iowa Lottery, so check it out. You mentioned the victim status. This is actually a sports story, Ross, and because this actually happened over here in Omaha. And that is Saturday, they had a huge celebration parade for Bud Crawford. Of course, Bud Crawford,
cool,
a couple weeks, like, 30, 40,000 people, gathered the streets. They have this big party. Well, late at night, Bud Crawford's driving around with his entourage. They get pulled over for reckless driving, and they acknowledge to the police that they have handguns in the car, which are legal. They say we have legal, but apparently the cops drew their guns and during a traffic stop, and then it became you only pulled them over because you're black, whatever. There's gonna be dash cam video of this because that's over here. You have to, once you start to pull somebody over, you have to turn the dash cam on. So but people are jumping to conclusions right away. But it's just
really?
Oh yes.
People have already made up decisions,
Yes.
and they're going to run with the tiny bit of information they have,
The tiny bit of information,
and jump to weird conclusions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. You know what, Ray? You're probably right, man. Everybody's racist. I forgot, man. Everybody's racist except for you. You're the one white guy, Ray, that's not racist, right? Let's talk Hawks.
Yes. Or let's talk Hawks. Got beat by Indiana over the weekend, 20-15. Your final score. We went on. I hit play and I thought it was 20-13, not knowing that Mendoza took the final snap, ran to the back of the end zone, and took a safety. And then the next day apologizes to all the bettors out there. Sorry about the over.
Clock ran out when he was at the 20-yard line.
Yes. Could have taken a knee.
He ran another 20 yards.
Could you imagine sitting at the Circa in Las Vegas out there by the pool going, what are you doing?
No.
What are you doing?
No,
what are you doing?
Go down. Get him. Fumble.
And the reason I say that is because, the final line went off at 8.5, but a lot of people bet this game earlier in the week when it was 6.5. And it's 20-13, and you're like, okay, I won. What are you doing? What are you doing? And do you think a quarterback should come out and apologize to the bettors? I don't. I think that's
that was a bad move.
That's a bad move.
A bad move. Yeah.
And it was just like, ooh.
Dude, the timeouts that led to that, because that's what I saw somebody say that. The timeouts that led to that. Horrible clock management. Epic bad clock management from Kirk Ferentz a couple of different times in that fourth quarter. I felt like Travis, to hand the ball off with 30-some seconds to play or whatever it was and have all three of your timeouts wasn't 30 seconds. Even if it had, because somebody are like, oh, no, look, he used all the timeouts.
In hopes of getting the ball back. But
in hopes of what? In hopes of getting possibly getting one punt return. Now, there's an argument to be made that that's your best playmaker, but that's what you saved your timeouts to hopefully maybe have a second left to get a punt return when you could have called a timeout to have your backup quarterback slow down. You've got your backup quarterback in the game trying to run a 2-minute offense for the first time. The game is on the line. You've got to get a touchdown, and you're racing to the line with 45 seconds to play and 3 timeouts. What are we doing? And how has Kirk Ferentz, of all the things he's really, really good at in football, how is he this bad at this one part of the game? Travis, I told you this a long time ago. They need to play Madden. A couple of times during the offseason, they need to go, hey, coach, you know what we should do? We should fire up the PlayStation and the Xbox. We should just play some video game football. Because you know what? It's a great way to learn clock management. It's a great way to learn the advantages of a timeout. Like, did you see what Curt Cignetti did? Watch what Curt Cignetti did. Calls a timeout with 2 minutes and 7 seconds to play. Okay? Then the Hawkeyes run a play, and Indiana gets a guy hurt. Is that designed to stop the clock multiple times leading up to the 2 minute warning? Curt Cignetti's idea is I need to stop this clock as much as possible from this point on. That's the only way I can win this game. On the defensive side of the ball, I can stop the clock doing this. Coach Ferentz is thinking the same thing. Well, I can stop the clock on the defensive side of the ball, but there has to be time. There has to be enough time to do the things afterwards, meaning if you can stop the clock and if you can get the ball back, you got to be able to have time to score. So saving your timeouts for those final 30 seconds is an absolute waste unless you're planning to get down and kick a field goal in those final seconds, and you got to have that timeout to call it.
Or if you're on offense, right? When you're on
That's
defense,
what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever? I'm trying to think because I'm getting old and I'm forgetting a lot of things these days. I'm trying to remember the last time I felt good about Iowa in a 2 minute situation. In a 2 minute situation. Indiana, when the game's tied, delivers. Iowa gets the ball back, and you're like, they're not going to score. You've got a backup quarterback who probably doesn't run a lot of 2 minute offense in practice. Hank Brown was not good on that last drive at all. They never did anything to gather him in, calm him down, put him at ease, and maybe the thinking was keep him out there, keep him in a flow, but he was in over his head. In over his head.
Keep him out there. Keep him in a flow. What flow?
What flow?
If there'd been a flow, I'd say, yeah, roll with it. So
do you think if you sat down with Kirk Ferentz and he went through that you could be convinced of?
No. I don't think he'd be able to convince me that what he's thinking is right, but I do think that I wouldn't be able to convince him that what he's doing is wrong.
Yeah.
He would. I think even watching the film back, he's in that same mentality that he was on Saturday. Because again, this is not a one-time thing with Kirk Ferentz.
No.
So it's a philosophy. And his philosophy is I save these things until the very last minute. Sometimes we call timeout 3 minutes into the game or 3 minutes into a half. By the way, man, talk about Cignetti and that Indiana offense. They did it twice. They did it into the first half, too.
Yeah.
Kick that field goal. Oh, my gosh, we're going to go to halftime with the lead. You got to be kidding me. Kickoff, 50-yard play, 20-yard play, field goal. What? Oh, damn, that was fast. How'd they do that? How's a team do that? You can do that? You can move the ball that fast?
Even though Iowa's defense, and it did a good job of containing that Indiana offense. But Indiana, you can just tell by watching them, they believe they can score every time they get the football. It is a mentality. It is a vibe you get. You're like, even if they don't, you can tell everybody on that team's on the same page, and they believe they can score at any single time. Iowa doesn't feel that way.
No.
It's a longer chess match. Flip the field, control the clock, which are all. There's no right or wrong way to play it unless you lose, and then you made the wrong move.
Defense played good enough to win that game. The defense stepped up. They stopped that Indiana team that had that confidence. Because, dude, you watched that first drive when they scored, 3 plays or whatever?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got great field position because Iowa threw a pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they scored in 2 plays, I believe it was. That's when I was like, should we open up the phone lines now? This thing's and at that point, I thought, oh, here we go.
I did too.
It's going to be a 60-point game. It's.
So I was really impressed when we got to halftime and it was a tied game. I was really impressed when we were getting ready to go to halftime and up by 3. That's when I was like, holy cow. Travis, I was even really impressed when you hold that offense scoreless for most of that second half.
Yeah.
When Iowa is marching with the ball with about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, they're moving the ball down the field slowly. Field goal wins the game because it's a tied game at that point. Indiana calls their first time out, and Curt Cignetti comes out on the field, and he's angry. And I remember even thinking, we're going to ruin this guy's day. We're going to ruin this guy's day. It's going to be great. Hawks are winning this game. Look at him. He's gripping. He wasn't gripping. He's figuring it out. He was planning. He's like, all right, we're going to stop the clock right away. Then we're going to stop the clock again right away. Then we're going to get the 2-minute warning. And then even if they kick this long field goal, we're going to have time. Frustrating, man. It's frustrating that felt like a game that the Hawkeyes could win. And more importantly, when you look at the season, it was a big game. Now, I don't think the Hawkeyes are going to make the college football playoff or anything like that, or would have made the college football playoff with a win over Indiana. But, man, wouldn't you feel much better about these games that are coming up? Wouldn't you feel much better about playing at Wisconsin in 2 weeks and at Nebraska at the end of the year and hosting Michigan State? And Minnesota's at home?
Minnesota's at home.
Yeah, okay.
I don't feel good about Oregon. I don't feel good about Penn State. And that's why the Indiana game was so big.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of people on Saturday night who said, oh, they're going to win at Wisconsin. Don't assume that. I don't assume anything anymore. If it was Oregon playing at Wisconsin, I would assume that. With Iowa, I'm not going to assume that because I don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be. Because Mark Gronowski got hurt, didn't play, most of that fourth quarter. Now, Kirk Ferentz says, he didn't give a gloom and doom, but we still don't know. Right. I know they're going to run some testing on him. Iowa does have the bye week, which comes at a very good time. But, man, if Mark Gronowski's out, and he was starting – the way Mark Gronowski looked in the first 3 quarters against Indiana was so much better than he looked
Best
against
he
UAlbany.
Played, every game it's gone like this. He looked really good.
Yeah, looked good.
The Gronowski-Plowski, big fan of that play. Hope we get him back. Hope that he's healthy. It did seem like Kirk Ferentz, like you said, he was not doom and gloom, kind of gave it a positive. And we had a few people tell us that Chad Leistico reported that same thing, that, doesn't seem like it's that bad of an injury. So it did look funky, man. He's in the air.
It did.
And that right leg kind of plants and does that little springboard, or left leg plants and kind of does that little springboard thing. Oh.
And let's not forget, he's been injured before. He'd missed all of spring practice because he had to have surgery. And that's, and a lot of the conversation that came up on Saturday night was, the future of Kirk Ferentz and what are the expectations. And this has been a broken record for the last several years on a Saturday night after a loss. It has. Yesterday, Sam Pittman, head coach at Arkansas, fired. And they got blown out by Notre Dame at home. And you have he's the 4th Power 5 or Power 4-5 coach to be fired so far. And the edict from the athletic director was, we expect to compete for SEC championships, and when you compete for SEC championships, you compete for national championships. This is Arkansas. The irony of the whole thing is that Bobby Petrino has been put in charge of the program. So a place he was fired from in 2012 for wrecking a motorcycle with a former student athlete.
With his girlfriend on the back.
With his girlfriend. Yeah, but she was a former student athlete who he hired to be in the football office. Yeah. And now Bobby Petrino has come out and said, hey, I want to be considered for the head coaching job. If you're Sam Pittman, you're like, have you been plotting for this all along? Is this what you've been doing? But Bobby Petrino is going to be the head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks, and they say a nationwide. I think Arkansas is a good job. There's a fan base. You're the only school essentially in the state. They've won there in the past. Bobby Petrino won there. You go back to and I know it's going back to the 70s, but they had powerhouses. But Pittman's not going to be – we're not done yet. Wisconsin plays Michigan this week. If Michigan blows out Wisconsin, there's a strong possibility, Ross, that Luke Fickell's not coaching against the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Do you think so? You think losing to Michigan is enough to lose your job?
Iowa would be. Iowa would be. Because if you lose – because they were already chanting "Fire Fickle" on the last game when they got beat at home by Maryland. You get the dreaded vote of confidence from your athletic director.
That's true. That means you got to win.
So, but I would say if he lost, it depends on how you lose to Michigan, because they're not going to beat Michigan. They're not. Michigan's pretty darn good. If you get blown out and then you lose at home to what many consider is your arch rival or one of your arch rivals, that's probably going to cost you a job.
Travis, you said fourth Power 5. I've come up with 3 in my head. Who are the 4?
So what we got? We got Gundy. I got Virginia.
Yeah, I had Okie
Virginia
State.
Tech head coach.
There you go. I had Okie State, UCLA, and Arkansas.
Yeah, and the Virginia Tech head coach.
Okay. Wow, dude. UCLA, Arkansas, Okie State, and Va-Tech. Those are not bad jobs.
Not bad jobs at all.
UCLA is not good.
It can be good. It was good at one time. It just UCLA has to decide if it financially wants to invest. And the problem is they're a California state school, right?
Yeah.
And coming back to Iowa, money's not a problem at Iowa. When you have one of the top 15, top 16 budgets in the state or in college sports, money's not a problem. You have revenue. Iowa can compete. It's just whether you want to, and we were talking, it comes back to the people. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
You don't think Indiana thinks it can compete right now with anybody in the country? Kurt Cignetti doesn't care.
I loved the timing of Saturday, that we were able to, while we were on the air, watch the cycle. That's my favorite sequence of stuff, is that we get the Hawkeye game before the Iowa State game so that we can watch the Iowa State game while we're on the air. I did enjoy that. And damn, Iowa State is really good.
Business-like. And we'll talk about the Cyclones when we come back. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
You've got enough on your plate, so when it's time to reset, grab a Fresca. Bold citrus, zero sugar, zero caffeine. Just clean, crisp refreshment that never goes out of style, whether it's post-work, post-gym, or just a break from the noise. Fresca's got your back. Pick up a Fresca at your local retailer today.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
Hey everybody, Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Willis Infinity, and I'm excited to announce some great things we have going on this month. Right now we have retail cash of $10,000 on all 2025 QX80s and $8,000 all 2025 QX60s. For more information, come visit our showroom or online at willisinfinity.com.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig, plantation rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show. Happy Monday, everybody. We're getting close to the end of September. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, the Rush Radio Android app, or the TuneIn app, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like. Leave your comments in the comments section. And follow us on X at Rush Mornings. Like our Facebook page, The Rush with Travis and Ross. And our Instagram page, The Rush Radio Show. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. Fast hour.
Yeah, really fast.
Hour.
This is going to be a fast week, dude. I'm going to warn you. It's going to be a really fast week.
That's fine.
Got a
I
big
like
interview.
fast weeks.
Maybe a big interview coming up here in a half hour, huh?
Well, yeah, because I was talking to the University of Iowa on Thursday and Friday, and we have Jan Jansen scheduled to join us at 7:30, and I sent all the information last night. I said, hey, please confirm you got this email. Never got the confirmation. Now, I confirmed on Friday that we were going to do 7:30 today, but when I sent all the information, I haven't got the reply back, probably because, you send it on a Sunday, and you're like, oh, okay, but crossing our fingers. If not, we'll have Jan at some point, but we're hoping that 7:30 today. Lots to talk about. Of course, Iowa just launched its Hoops from Downtown event that's coming up on October 17th. We'll talk to her about that, plus the upcoming season and some other big news in women's college basketball. Juju Watkins announced last night, Ross, that she's sitting out the entire season.
I saw that this morning, dude. That was like one of the headlines, and I didn't see that she had announced that, but she's going to miss the entire season.
Yeah. Yeah,
right, ACL tear.
Yeah, she tore her ACL in the NCAA tournament, which was late. So then you're like, okay, have you recovered? What's it like to come back from that? And I think Jan's can recognize that as women's college basketball as a whole, Juju Watkins was like, she wasn't Caitlin Clark level, but she's pretty darn close.
She's as far as I am aware, she was the one that was going to be the torchbearer.
Yeah. So. We're talking about Iowa State as we ended the first hour, and God, they're just so business-like, Ross. As we were doing the Black and Gold Rush, and I had, the game on to my right, watching the game at the same time as we're talking on the radio. This team is just business-like. They're focused. They're dialed in. Rocco, just the whole package. You just sit there and go, who's going to beat this team? Then Cincinnati goes to Kansas and beats KU, and they have to go to Cincinnati this week. I mean, it's not an easy road ahead, but I sit here and look at this team, and I'm just so impressed by them. They impress me each and every week. I wasn't sold after Kansas State, but then the more they go about it, the workmanship, the belief, it's all cliche stuff. But, man, it's hard not to buy in the cliche when you literally witness it on TV.
Right. Offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
Even, they were without their kicker, and we're like, man, what's this going to mean? They make dynamic plays, and they get that swinging gate 2-point conversion. Brammer throws a 45-yard, fun team to watch. The atmosphere up there seems amazing. The energy around Iowa State football is, man, better than I've ever seen.
And that's saying something. But because the year they went to the Fiesta Bowl and won, it was and the hype coming off of that.
The coming up was cool. The coming up was cool to see. It was neat to see your Iowa State fans kind of getting that mojo. Now, dude, this is as high as I've ever seen it, and rightfully so. You're beating the teams on your schedule. You're beating them, I'd say beating them handily. Beat Arizona handily. And they were undefeated coming into town. putting yourself into that position of the college football playoff picture on a weekly basis. And
when do we start talking about that even more? When do we start talking? I mean, because I'm like kind of like the pitcher in the you don't talk about a pitcher, a no-hitter with a pitcher, right? Yeah, you don't talk about the no-hitter. I mean, fans are always going to start talking about the college football playoffs, but seriously, and Matt Campbell knows what's at stake. Every player knows what's at stake. But when do we start? Is there going to be one win coming up to where you go, okay. You know, is it Cincinnati? You know what?
No, I think it's BYU. In fact, I'm glad that that's how the schedule shakes out, because when my thought was going to be, you forget that Iowa State. You don't forget that one of the things that plays with your brain is that Iowa State's already played 5 games.
Yeah,
I mean, we're almost halfway through the season for Iowa State, and so it feels like, well, the conversation should be starting very soon. Remember, the Cyclones have those 3-4 game pods. So my instinct when you first asked was it's going to be after that second 4-game pod, after their 8th game, which would be BYU. And that would make sense. You beat BYU, who is one of the only other ranked. You got BYU and Arizona State are the ranked teams on your schedule going forward. You beat BYU, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, this team is maybe at worst going to be a 1-loss team in the Big Ten championship.
Big 12
championship. that to me should be enough to have this team in the college football playoff, but definitely in the conversation.
Yeah.
And that,
I mean, do we have to get through October to feel a little bit better? But I think right now, I mean, because even though they've played 5 games, I mean, your season's almost half over. Do you just you temper it and go, okay, I don't want to think that next game, but sooner or later you got to go, okay, this thing's going to happen.
I think that's when it is, because beating Cincinnati, winning at Colorado, I mean, those aren't the things that are going to move the needle. I mean, dude, they beat the crap out of Arizona. They didn't move up.
Moved up, what, 2 spots? They went 14 to 12.
Oh, okay. I still see them as 14.
I thought they went up to 12.
Man, I'm looking at the ESPN thing. Doesn't the ESPN use AP?
Yes. Oh, you're right. They are at 14. They're 12. I looked at the coaches poll, so they went from 13 to 12 in the coaches poll. You're right, Ross.
Dude, beat Arizona like that, and you don't even get a tick up. Well, last week, out of sight, out of mind.
Didn't help that Alabama beat Georgia. Didn't help that Ole Miss beat the crap out of LSU. So there. But again, you're sitting there. You're the highest ranked. No, you're not. Texas Tech, the highest ranked Big 12 team. I mean, I'm looking at the Big 12
ranked
11 in the AP.
Okay. And maybe that. So Trav. I think that's, if you want to know when do we start caring about the college football playoff, it's probably another couple of weeks, because a lot of teams, it still seems like we're in the beginning of the season. It doesn't feel like we're halfway through this college football season.
But we are.
Iowa State is. Kansas State is. Next week, they're halfway through their season.
I think this is a worthy conversation. Is Iowa State the football school in the state of Iowa now? Or is it a no? But I'm talking.
I know what you're saying.
We've seen the fan bases are switching. People are like on board. Or if they get to the college football playoff, is that the game changer? You can't ignore it.
What a good question. Because I'm still a Hawkeye fan. I grew up. I've lived my whole life in Iowa being a Hawkeye fan, and so my instinct is like, nah. But I want to step back, and I want to try to sit in an Iowa State fan's perspective for a second. Okay, let me make the case. We won the last 2 games against you. We're ranked in the top 25. We're undefeated. We are beating top 25 teams. Iowa has done none of those things. Iowa has slipped in the last couple of years on a national scale, and Iowa State has risen in prominence. There's no doubt about that. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was a lot more common for people to dismiss Iowa State. 10 years ago, it was a lot more common. Now, all of a sudden, people hear Iowa State, and they think of David Montgomery and Breece Hall and Brock Purdy. They don't think of Troy Davis and Dan McCarney anymore. Look at what Ames looked like on Saturday, man. That place was freaking rocking.
White out. See, this comment kind of, it doesn't bother me because I know where they're coming from. Dude, come on. It's still a Hawkeye State. 2 years doesn't change 50-year history. I know where you're coming from. Then don't make fun of Nebraska fans for living in the 90s, right? I mean, history only takes you so far to where you go, huh?
You can keep it in the state. You can really say,
yes.
Put yourself in an Iowa. Try to make the argument from an Iowa State fan's perspective. If you're a Hawkeye fan, really, just for a moment, try to convince yourself that Iowa State's the better football program. It ain't hard. It ain't hard.
And momentum and where the programs seemingly are going. Right? I mean, and it's more than 2 years. Brock Purdy had a pretty good 4-year run. Rocco Beck's had a pretty good 3-year run. Just saying.
For how many years has the most popular player in the state been an Iowa State Cyclone?
Ooh. Because would you say Rocco Beck's the most popular player in the state? I would.
Yes, absolutely.
Brock Purdy was the most popular player in the state when he was the quarterback.
Absolutely. Caleb Johnson was. We loved Caleb Johnson. He wasn't as popular as Brock Purdy and Rocco Beck. Rocco Beck has his own brand. The coaches are up there wearing their RB hats. When was the last time the most popular player in the state of Iowa was a Hawkeye?
C.J. Beathard? I just throwing that out.
I'd have to go year by year to kind of go back and look at it. But I can make the argument. I would tell you this: it's not as clear cut as some of the Hawkeye fans in our chat want to make it believe. It's not as clear cut as what was it, Marshalltown Booker, that said, "Oh, come on, guys, you're erasing 50 years of history." We're not asking that.
Things change.
We're not asking who used to be. Who is? If you haven't seen that change, I'd encourage you to zoom out.
And the change at multiple levels, meaning expectations, wins and losses, and fan bases. Iowa State's fan and kids growing up today are like you and I growing up, right? We grew up Hawkeye fans because, well, Iowa State wasn't winning at the time. I grew up with Dwayne Crutchfield, great running back, but they weren't winning. Iowa was winning. All of a sudden, you've got a marketing machine winning. You make a college football playoff. This is wishy-washy. It's Pollyannish. At worst, they're even. At worst, they're even. It's 50-50.
I mean, to give you an idea where Hawkeyes fans' heads are at right now, you were talking about football. We said, who's been the most popular football player over the last several, right? Buck Wild for Kirk to leave says, Miss Clark, Iowa basketball? Buck Wild for Kirk to leave. Can't wait for the coach to leave. We say, hey, guys, the football team hasn't had the superstar in the state for a while. And his response is, hey, women's basketball. Let's talk women's basketball. We want to talk about who owns the state. Let's get into the real stuff.
As Ross would say in his great debating ways, this is changing the narrative.
Boy, oh boy, you've moved the goalpost.
in a big way. In a very big way.
Buck wild for Kirk to leave. Says, hold on a minute, boys. Women's basketball. And you ask, is football slipping at Iowa? And Hawkeye fans can have that happen in their face and go, no. A guy that's crazy for our coach to leave thinks that women's basketball is the conversation that we're actually having here. But no, we're not delusional. Yeah,
Here's another.
You know what, dude? I think you might have actually just solidified it.
Exactly. How about Ross makes a good point. Cyclone fans ain't talking about firing their coach for the last 10 years. That's why I thought it was a fair question to ask. And every fan base is going to defend your fan base. That's what you should do, right? As a fan, you should defend your fan base. 100%. Not disagreeing with that.
There is one thing, and we've mentioned a few of the names that lead into this conversation. There's one trait that Iowa State has right now that Iowa does not. Quarterback talent evaluation. Matt Campbell has not missed, man, since Jacob Park. Matt Campbell has not missed on a quarterback. Since C.J. Beathard, Kirk Ferentz has not hit, and he's thrown mud at the wall, guys. Name the number of quarterbacks we've had in that room that we all laugh at as Hawkeye fans. We make these quarterbacks that Kirk Ferentz brings into the room. He only brings in a couple of quarterbacks a year. And then at the end of the year, they're a punchline in Iowa fans. Not Kirk Ferentz. It's not his talent evaluation that we pick on and his recruiting. No, it's the kid. Deacon Hill. Fat ass. Well, Kirk Ferentz is the one that brought him in and handed him the ball. Well,
you ready for
this?
this?
He was supposed to be the backup.
We've got 3 calls lined up on this.
All right, let's do this.
515-517-2303. We're going to start with Derek in New Sharon. Now, Derek, we're not going to give you a long time because we got calls lined up. What's going on?
That's fine. I'm just going to say the best performance of the year. Rocktober ain't even started. Bring them on. Woo. And Blue Yummy Sportsbook had the Hawks keeping it close. I hope we made a lot of money for you little Hawkeyes out there. And our program is far better shape. I'm not saying it's most popular. It's in far better shape right now than the Hawkeye program is. That's just a fact, as we have the guy that can throw the ball. And we have we don't mess on receivers either, Ross.
That's a good point. Very good point.
Great point, dude.
And for those of you that, and Derek, thanks for the phone call. Those of you that are annoyed by Derek, he made a good point. It's in better shape.
Get over it. If you don't like Derek,
exactly.
It's 15 seconds of him, guy being silly in the morning. Relax.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Coach Hersom, who is probably driving back from the Ryder Cup. But, Coach, what's going on?
Not much. Yeah, I am on I-80 for the next several hundred miles in Ohio right now. I'm not an Iowa fan, but in that gap year, kind of when Purdy left and Rocco was getting started, if I'm an Iowa fan, I'd say Cooper DeJean. I mean,
that's fair. There you go. Coach Hersom, good one.
Good
you're
call.
Right. You're absolutely right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I did. Like I said, and then he obviously comes, gets in the league and gets a pick six in the Super Bowl. Good Lord, what do you want, So
that's a good call. Way to dig down and bring out names we forget. So, all right, Coach. Hey, call later. I want to ask you about because we're not talking about the Ryder Cup now, but I know the fans were a little unruly. And call tomorrow or Wednesday. I want to talk about the Ryder Cup and Rory's reaction to the fans.
Absolutely, will do.
All right, thanks, buddy. 515-517-2303. Let's go to Andy. Andy, welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hey, guys, as a lifelong Hawkeye fan and a 20-plus year season ticket holder, the Iowa State program is in better shape at this moment. That being said, a couple things. You guys actually sounded like what you implied was that Jack Trice was rocking on Saturday night, which it was, but that Kinnick wasn't rocking?
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that.
Didn't say Kinnick wasn't rocking. In fact,
that was the implication.
Oh, no, I think...
No. Listen, man, complimenting the sun is not an indictment of the shade. Do you understand that? All we said was Jack Trice was rocking on Saturday night. If you hear that and you go, oh, well, that means he's saying something about Kinnick, you've got to pause. You got to stop and go, no. I got to let my brain hear the words that were said. We didn't say anything about Kinnick. Kinnick looked like it was on fire on Saturday, too. In fact, I even saw Pat Angerer say it was one of the loudest he's ever heard. He couldn't hear himself thinking up in the booth at times. So, but again, that compliment right there of Kinnick Stadium is not an indictment of Jack Trice Stadium. You understand that, right?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So, this is great. We had a couple of them today where I'm like, I wonder why.
Hey,
Charlie
Andy,
said,
thanks for the phone call, man.
Thanks, Andy. Charlie said,
have a great day, guys.
Charlie said, so it took a Derek call for you guys to realize they're in better shape, but not the program. Woof. Charlie, were you listening? We started the conversation by saying, hey, as a Hawkeye fan, this is hard for me to admit. Iowa State's in a better, and then I laid out the case for why Iowa State was the better program. Van Harden had a lot of lines. One of them was, I always wondered why we called them listeners.
Well, even Andy, right? He heard you say Jack Trice was rocking. He automatically assumed that you meant that Kinnick wasn't. And
no.
I mean, this whole segment started off talking about Iowa State and their win over Arizona.
And just a simple question from you, man. Are they the football program in this state right now? I had not had that question presented to me, Travis. I really hadn't. That's why it took my brain a minute to go, oh, shit, I have to say yes.
Yeah.
As a Hawkeye fan, yeah, they are. And the more I think about it and say it out loud and put myself into that Iowa State person's position, yeah.
Sean says, so you said his wife is beautiful, so you're saying mine wife is ugly.
Right, Sean, yeah. Yeah, I remember one time I came up the stairs in the back of the building, and Simon Conway, it was like one of those 140-degree days. It's blazing hot outside.
And those stairwells are hot.
Oh, yeah, but remember, the radio station had a monopole. It had a 200-foot pole that shot up into the air with a bunch of antennas on top of it. So that would, of course, cast this very long, very narrow shadow across the parking lot. So I come up the stairs one day, 140 degrees. I'm dripping sweat. I get to the top of the stairs, and I see Simon standing in the shadow of the pole. Okay, he's like standing in the shadow, smoking a ciggy, burning a lung dart. And I say, feels good in the shade, doesn't it, Simon? And Simon's retort is, well, it feels just as good in the sun. Standing in the shade. I was just trying to... I shouldn't have said anything.
Are people just wired like that to where if you say something, they just want to say the exact opposite?
They just,
Or if you say something, and I try to be cognizant of this because I'm guilty of it, and it's the one-upmanship. Like, if you say something good about your life or something you've done, oh, well, let me tell you about the experience I had.
This is my daughter has this thing. If I compliment Eli in front of Audrey's like,
look at me.
Hey,
look at me.
But I do good things too. Yeah, honey.
But it's not all about you.
Yeah, we're going to enjoy a moment of celebrating Eli. And then later we'll have a moment where we celebrate.
And I try not to I try to be a better listener because even though I may have a similar story, it's not better than yours, but but it always comes off as, oh, let me tell you, you went to Europe? Let me tell you about the time I go to Europe.
I think that those things are not necessarily one-upmanship. It's connection, relation, correlation. Oh, you've done something? Oh, I had an experience like that too. But this thing of you said something good about somebody else, so that must mean you said something bad about me and my team and my guy.
Interesting conversation. It's always good to get Cyclones and Hawkeyes fired up, even though they've already played. But I'm just telling you, if Iowa State makes the college football playoff,
how's it a conversation at that point?
Yeah, the conversation is that's the football program in the state. You are a college football playoff team, something that another school hasn't done. And the expectation for Iowa State will be to get to the college football playoff. And if you don't think expectations are crazy, Penn State's the 6th-ranked team in the country. They were number 2. They got beat at home by Oregon. And fans, Ross, James Franklin's feeling it. What has James Franklin done at Penn State? He's won. But now he's 4-21 against top 10 teams. He's 1-18 against top 10 teams from the Big Ten. You know what got John Cooper fired at Ohio State? Wasn't that he couldn't win football games. It's that he couldn't beat Michigan.
Almost got Jim Harbaugh fired. Wasn't that it wasn't they couldn't beat Ohio State.
Yes. Expectations. Absolute expectations. They don't get rid of James Franklin, though, do they? No, they can't.
No. What? No. What?
I know. It had to pop in my head. Or does he leave by going, you know what? I've done all I can do
and
here.
And go where?
Arkansas? I'm joking there. UCLA?
Hope you're joking there. Leave Penn State and go where?
NFL? I don't know if his shtick would work in the National Football League. Iowa.
I would love to dive into this. I would. There. You just touched on some sort of psychology that I'd love to touch on. Because I'm with you. I don't think James Franklin would be a great NFL coach. I don't think Dabo Swinney would be a great.
No.
And I say Swinney. I know it's Swinney, but I say Swinney. I don't think Dabo would be a great NFL coach. What I would like to think about that more.
Hold on to that. If Jan Jansen jumps on, we'll have the interview. If not, we'll continue this conversation.
There's lots of other stuff we can talk to about here. So
515-517-2303. We'll take a break. Come back on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's $25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Hi, my name is John Linares with Willis Lexus, and September is one of my favorite months. I would like to personally invite you to our Willis Automotive new car show on Tuesday, September 16th from 4:45 until 7:30 p.m. It'll be a fun night with friends, food, and beverages. Leading up to the car show, we've specially priced our vehicles for our new car show, and Lexus is supporting us with great low lease rates. For example, a $449 lease rate with $49.99 due at signing on ES. Stop on out or visit us online at willislexus.com.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you, taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the RushRadio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Every business has priorities, and Priority One Heating and Cooling is no different. As a service provider, we prioritize quality air conditioners and furnaces that will keep your home at your comfort level year-round. As a small business, we prioritize doing things the right way and treating people fairly. As a truly local business, we prioritize our community. As a veteran-owned business, we prioritize duty and commitment. For big business service with local value, trust your home to the place where you are always Priority One.
Hey everybody, Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Mini of Des Moines, and right now we have some exciting things to talk about. We have our last Countryman SE. We are leasing that as low as $399 a month with $3,800 down. On top of that, we are doing 1.99 for 48 months on all new 2025 Countrymans. For more information, come visit your favorite Mini Motoring Advisor or visit us online at miniofdesmoines.com.
Rush, strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Monday, everybody. Glad you're hanging out with us. Somebody left a message in the call screener, Ross, said, how can I get a hold of your written message? I guess I don't say the email enough. You can just email me, travis@therushladio.com, or you can email ross@therushladio.com. That's the best way to get a hold of us. Hey,
when you say written message, I think telegram.
Either that or we're going to get like a court order. We're going to get sued or something. I don't know what's going to happen. Joining us now, live from a big office in Iowa City, head coach of the Iowa women's basketball team, Jan Jansen. What's going on, Coach?
What's up, Coach?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
Shovels.
I feel like I got things that doesn't look.
Oh no, we like it. Yeah,
my mother, God bless her. She's like, "Did you straighten your room?" I just flew in here, double fisting, energy, coffee, smoothies.
We just learned you're a Scooters fan, so we know you're a Scooters fan.
I love my Starbucks, but Scooters, I mean, scoot on around. Happy with those people.
Travis, you know that every time you order, they say to you after you order, they say, "Scoot on around for
and
your."
It's so happy. You cannot not like that place. They're awesome.
I got one more question though, because you said energy drink too. Do you do coffee and an energy drink?
Well, yeah. When I get up, I have a little product that's but it's all natural. It's called Yoli. Okay. It's probably like a green tea.
Oh, okay.
I do that when I get up early. My devotions, I center, and then great spouse gets me loaded with a smoothie, and then the nectar of the gods.
Yes,
right?
We're both big coffee drinkers. Yeah.
So, how many coffees do you do? Like, I won't drink coffee after noon. How many coffees do you do a day?
I really only do one, but guys, when I've recruited all my life, I mean, I could drink a 2-liter of Mountain Dew and still be fighting to drive home. I like it. My favorite way to enjoy coffee is in a real cup amongst friends. If we were sitting down and had 3 hours to do the show and we could just keep filling it. Now, cold brew. I like a cold brew with half and half, just straight down.
Coach,
I don't think it, like Lisa Bluter, like she would do that too. Not after 2 o'clock and just keep her wired. And that didn't work for me so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, Trav. About 3 o'clock, if I have coffee after 3 o'clock.
Can't say that I do. A lot of times I'll do a little tall from Starbucks and just, I don't do it all the time, but my fuel in the morning.
What you described there, Coach, is what Travis's daughter describes this show as. Seriously. Travis and I get our coffee every morning. We sit here, we have a conversation, we talk to, a few thousand people.
That's
the
best.
It's great.
You guys got a good gig. I love it.
It's been fun.
Jan, you may not know this. We're about the same age. I'm a Western Iowa kid. And
you are?
So
what city?
I'm a Tri-Center Neola grad.
Did you graduate the same time as Radigan's and
Okay, so we're going down a rabbit hole. So Jody Radigan, her sister was married to my brother. No, they're divorced now, so Kathy is I still call her my sister-in-law, but her older sister Kathy was my sister-in-law. John was a year before me. Jody listens to the show all the time. I still remember.
If you're listening, she was awesome.
And then here's one for you. This is really inside. T. Gary White was my next door neighbor.
Oh my gosh, he's that guy. We text his wife, and
Pam?
He was awesome. That goal whistle, man. Remember that?
Wait,
yes.
Fill us in.
He was a storied, amazing Southwest Iowa girls basketball coach. Wore this gold whistle, it was like a necklace. It wasn't a choker, but he'd always wear it. But it was everybody knew he was the man.
So my mom just passed away, and we were sitting out and he just drove by. He gets out of the car. I go, Gary, you're still wearing the whistle. I mean, what are you wearing the whistle for? But I wanted to bring that up because one of the best games I remember, and I think it was 1986. 6, either at Harlan or Denison.
Harlan.
It was in Harlan. This is Tri-Center. Jan was a junior, and we beat them to go to state.
It's one of the best games I've ever played in. And usually people don't say that when you lose it, especially when you have a turnaround jumper to win it, and you might be the one that missed it, right? But that game was amazing. And remember, sadly, it was one of those quintessential 6-on-6 games.
Yep.
Standing room only, people standing, they shut people out. And sadly, a person had a heart attack. Remember, the game was delayed, passed away. The game was delayed for at least 20 to 25 minutes. And then Jody was she was so great. Karen Jennings played as well. Rachel Hall.
Yeah.
And we just traded those 6-on-6 baskets, and they were the last one standing.
So that's our connection. That is a very small world.
And from Neola, one of my favorite, or one of our best Hawks, Wendy Osdemore. You know, the Osdemore family. Now, they're younger.
Yeah, a lot younger than I am.
She was earlier in our careers here, but she's awesome too. There's great people come from Southwest Iowa, baby.
Absolutely.
That's right. One of these hosts right here. Now, where do you come from? The other side of the state?
I'm from Des Moines, Iowa, born and raised. I'm an East High boy, so hide your valuables. I might steal them. Okay.
All right.
I do. Do you ever, Coach? Like this 6-on-6 is it such a
greatest game ever. Greatest game ever.
Well, okay, such a unique thing that you participated in. How often do the girls find out about this? The ladies on your team, these young women that you recruit that have never heard of this or are from California or other states.
They kind of in conversation and recruiting it'll come up. Wait, am I on the right side?
Yeah. Let me guess. When they find out you scored 93 points a game, they're like, "Whoa!"
Well, I don't start the recruiting process with that, believe that or not. Some of them know, some of them don't know, but invariably you get on it. So you just have to give them a crash course and understanding it. But yeah, it's like a game of 3-on-3. Basketball. I think that's I think people have always liked scoring. I don't think there's too many people that really enjoy just a defensive stalwart type of a game. Football, basketball, or to me, but I'm obviously an offensive minded fan and coach. But if you explain it, the 3-on-3 setting, they understand a little bit more, but they still can't believe it. Because there's so many nuances. Number one, you can't play full court.
Right.
Number two, you can only dribble twice. Right.
And number three, you couldn't grab the ball out of the hand unless you were in the lane.
Number three, exactly. So that was quite an adjustment for all of us 6-on-6ers that transitioned to high school.
Oh, Jan Jansen joining us on the Rush Radio Show. Of course, the season getting ready to start. You guys just launched Hoops from Downtown. That's coming up on October 17th. It's going to be on the outdoor court. So, at Drake, they've been going downtown. They bring in the court and everything like that. You guys are going to play on a court that's already there right behind Bird's Residence Hall. Whose idea? Did you and Ben McCollum get together and say, hey, let's do this? How did this all come about?
No, well, we had done for a couple of years. We skipped last year, I think. No, we did do it last year. Probably in the Caitlin Clark era, Kate Martin, Gabby. That's who I remember, and the men's squad. We actually went downtown like the Bulldogs do, and we laid some courts down, and that was fun. And then I think they're trying to change it up and just kind of put it in the middle of campus a little bit more downtown. Obviously continuing to try to drum up the support of the students. So it's already there. It's a really cool setting. We've shot some posters there before, unless you go to Iowa, are really involved in the community, you don't know this cool court is back there. And it's that, it's the old school court, and it overlooks the campus, and it's a pretty neat, a neat venue. I'm sure, back in the day, right, we all played outside and it was awesome. You ran the courts, and then when you get in high school, the Gary T. Whites and the Rod Hoigs, they open the gym for you all the time. So we have beautiful, a new rec center. I'm sure people are scrimmaging and running on, but I don't know how many people play pickup on that court. I'll have to ask the people at Burge Hall, but I think it'll be a really fun setting. I think we're really trying to engage students. And then of course the downtown, you can park downtown, but it'll take a short little walk to actually get behind the dorm. So they're kind of bridging it together with the downtown event, but it'll be a cement floor, kind of old school.
Do you worry about injury? Do you go, hey, no cracks in the court? I mean,
well,
how do you go about this?
There? Yeah.
It's never, it's even downtown. It's more so to introduce the team. It was kind of more of a, shooting contest. We engaged the fans, it was more of a hype, and now number 13, that type of thing. But it was fun. But you wouldn't have played competitively. I do not think we'll play really competitively. Maybe some shooting drills. It's always nice for men. They can just dunk and everybody screams, right? It's like you can dunk a few. Doesn't matter where it is, boom. So we'll get some hype with the men. Duncan, I'm sure. But I haven't seen exactly what the format is. But I know it'll be fun. I mean, it'll be – what we did downtown, everybody loved it. In fact, one of my recruits, it was interesting because you don't know what they're thinking. But they came a year ago, and when she came back to visit, she just offered, that was really cool. So I was happy to hear we're going to do it again.
I want to be careful how I phrase this without making it sound like I'm being pointed towards the previous coach, but have things changed since Ben McCollum has gotten there? I mean, I don't remember a lot of commingling.
Yeah, well, I think it's like you probably don't remember that because it would, you're mingling consistently because you're been working together for so long.
Okay.
Fran and our staff had a really good, relationship. Obviously, his son dated our star, right?
It's true.
And, so that was just a really,
real commingling.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really organic way to cheer for someone, right? But I think when you're new, and Fran, I wish him all the best. I text him when I see some things on social media when he's at Penn, and I just hope he has a blast there.
We like Fran a lot.
They're with Ben though, when someone new is coming in, you're trying to feel each other out, but he's great. He's been awesome. And, I know Allison really well from Drake. So when I saw her on the recruiting trail, he's from Western Iowa too, right? Not quite Southwest. So it's not really God's country per se, but we're close. We're close.
He doesn't have a big windmill, right? He doesn't have a big museum and a windmill. I mean, you got that.
Exactly. But no, he's been great. I think he's really been out in the community doing a lot of great things. So I think it's going to be it'll be really fun. And obviously his brought with him a lot of guys, which is always hard. But the portal, I know because I'm a Bulldog too, so I know that's always tough. But they're great guys. So I'm really excited for him to see what he'll be able to do. And it seems like he's got a few things up his sleeve.
In your time in this sport, I mean, not just the changes from 6-on-6 basketball to where you are now, you've seen some just amazing changes in the scope of women's athletics and women's basketball. I mean, you had a front row seat to really the driving force for it with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin, obviously, with the injuries, has missed some of this WNBA season. That has seemed to, at least from our perspective, Coach, that interest in women's basketball without Caitlin there has kind of waned a little bit. And now we got news this morning, Juju Watkins, who we kind of saw as one of those torch bearers for college women's basketball, going to miss this next season. How important is it for us to have these dynamic performers out there?
I think that was definitely a tough blow, right, with Caitlin. We'll start with her first. I do think the eyes that came upon it, I think they're, the ratings still seem like they're holding. The one thing about a Caitlin is there's only two people that really consistently have ever done what she does from distance, her and Steph Curry. That's kind of the start of the story and the end of the story. People always ask, to me, everybody asks, well, why? Why? I go, well, let's start there. Because we all admired, if you like sport, we love Steph. He was just so amazing. And then you have this kid, a young kid in college that's doing it, but it's a female. And so then you were getting the conversation good and bad, everything from like, wow, the terror, frustrating, I shouldn't say terrible, this one, people who don't respect it, like get back in the kitchen. But she's said, no, I mean, what are you talking about? I'm drilling it, right? So you had this spark of conversation, and then it just become this, amazing just trajectory, because she was so good in doing things that was must-see TV. Were must-see TV. And then that showed light on other people doing things at a high level for women. Juju Watkins, Hidalgo from Notre Dame. I mean, there's just a lot of different people, but Caitlin does it with such flair, like, look at me, right? And that confidence. So I think that it held decently well in the WNBA. I don't track the numbers. Obviously, I'm a Caitlin fan. But I do think that all of us, we have the responsibility to put a really nice product on the floor and to try to get people to continue to appreciate it. Like, that's what thing that frustrated my whole life, is that sometimes people will not appreciate women's basketball because it's not men's. And it's just like, well, even back when I was, my whole life I feel like I've been spent just having people give it a shot, to watch it. Even when I coached at Drake, right? I was like, hey, come watch us play. Come watch us play. And I think when you don't compare them and you don't wish the women would dunk, or you're not, well, they don't do this and they don't do that, or they might do that, is if you have the financial resources to support both, do. And if you can watch them and appreciate the nuances that make us different. And that's what I'm hopefully trying to do here at Iowa. But I think everybody who coaches women is just put a great product on the floor that's fun. And then hopefully we can keep that interest, and then there's a respect level. And if we have the respect, then I think there'll be more eyeballs. So, she's had a lot to wear and a lot to bear, and she welcomes it. But then when you have this unfortunate injury and the setback, and then everybody's still debating, it'll be interesting to see what next year brings. And certainly in the Big Ten now, when we don't have arguably our biggest star with Juju Watkins. So it'll be opportunity, for all the rest of us to make sure we're figuring out how we can keep the interest alive.
Great attitude on it.
Yeah.
Jan, a compliment I think that came from a listener earlier in the week. Last week we were talking about your team and just how expectations. We talk about in sports, when you go to a certain level, expectations change, right? When you get to the Final Four 2 years in a row, the expectation is, well, that's the expectation. And somebody said, well, I was a blue blood program right now, and I thought that's an incredible compliment, but it also shows the level of expectations some people have. And the question is, what did you learn in year one? You've been an assistant forever. You get the head coaching job. What's the difference about being an assistant coach and being a head coach? What'd you learn the most in year one?
Well, I learned that Lisa probably never slept very much. No, I think what you just learn, like I had been about as close as you could be to that chair, right? But I always fully understood I wasn't in that chair. I knew for sure that there was the weight of it at the end of the day. There's those, the decisions. And it's easy to sit here and suggest a decision, and she was so good at always taking it. But now when I flip to that, I would say that the things that I learned were the pace of which you have to make decisions and the confidence of which you have to make those decisions. Because there's a lot of people waiting and resting on that, and you're taking in all the information of which you used to suggest, and the pace of which you have to absorb it and then decide and move on. And that is in a 30-second timeout to a recruiting situation. You might have a little bit more time to a strategy session if we're going to go with the 1-2-2 zone, or you're implementing a 2-3 zone. Discipline, whatever it is, it's just the pace and the confidence as it's rapid fire. I felt that was interesting. It'll be interesting this year if I felt it was more of a quick pace because of the transition that we really didn't see coming. It wasn't like you had a plan. I never had sat in my associate, head office and pining for this office ever. I felt so blessed. And I knew that I was surrounded by great people, and I didn't have an ego that I needed to be the top. And I wasn't ever climbing for finances. So it was just it was a beautiful thing. I mean, you think about it. If you could do this show for 32 years at the highest level, that's what Lisa and I got to do. And we got to be together at Drake. She coached me, and we got to have a lot of success at Drake. And then we decided to take this Big Ten challenge together. And then when we were working and formulating it, I had some opportunities to go, but I chose sometimes not a popular choice because everybody is chasing that next rung in the ladder. And sometimes if you don't take that next rung, you can be seen as less than, right? Instead of really understanding, I think, where you're valued and where you really can make a difference. And that's what was fun. And so then when I got the opportunity, it wasn't like I had this big plan, like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, right? So it's like, whoa, it was this whirlwind. So I think that was the key that was really different. And I also learned, I knew when I took over, I certainly wasn't Lisa, but I didn't have me. And what I mean by that is 32 years. I mean, there was a lot of unspoken communication, and my good friend, our friend, Jenny Fitzgerald, we'd worked together for 32 years. So Jenny, myself, and Lisa, right? So I love my staff. They're fantastic. They grew along with me. But that was a lot to replace, right? That experience that I knew I was good at all that, or I thought I was, right? What I used to do. Now coming over here, to this chair, you learned a lot quickly. But it was just a challenging, fascinating year. And I thought we did more than held serve, making it to the round of 32. Man, yes, I would love Sweet 16s. That's usually always the standard. But I think with everything that changed, everything that we were navigating, I was beyond thrilled that we got to that level.
Can I ask you this? What is your expectation for success on this season?
Well, I think, it's interesting you mentioned blue blood, right? I would, I've kind of in my mind, I think maybe we're blue collar blue blood. It's like
Iowa.
That's what I like. I think when you're talking about those blue bloods, I think it's, twofold. It's a lot of times just academically, if you're looking at the Ivies, right, they're a blue blood thought. If you're looking at sport, typically because we're a patriarchal society, when you think blue bloods, you're thinking Duke men's basketball, right? Kansas men's basketball. And sometimes you can put the women right into that. The new blue bloods for women would be Connecticut women's basketball, right? There was nothing, no foundation. What Gino did was like, whoo, Dawn Staley has done. Not the discounting. North Carolina is awesome. Kansas is awesome. But I think now when you're navigating that, there's 2 Final Four back-to-backs, probably not. But what I do really appreciate is the work that went into that, is to have anybody that wants to consider that or stir up a debate for that. I certainly don't think we have established that. But I do believe in the blue blood factor of it, is like, let's go. That's what we're striving for, right?
Yeah.
So how do I feel about that? I feel like that's a compliment. And I feel like
I would agree.
Pressure. I mean, everything we've done. I mean, I feel the pressure, but if you're not at a good spot in this job, if you're not like at a place where there are expectations, you're not probably that good, right? And so now when I look at this year, I mean, I think if we're going to talk about that, I think you want to shoot for those NCAAs, those Sweet 16s. This is the youngest we've been since 2012. And it was really interesting when we were practicing the other day. It was taking us a little longer to get a concept. And I probably should have dawned on me a little bit earlier, but it's the first time also since 2012, we haven't had an eventual WNBA point guard leading us. From 2012 to 16, we had Sam Logic. She was our staff's first round draft pick. She went to the Land of Dream. We were followed up by Kathleen Doyle, who became her senior year, the Big Ten Player of the Year. And that was she was the point guard with Megan Gustafson. If you follow us, she was the National Player of the Year before Caitlin.
Yep.
Then when Kathleen graduated, and so did Megan, we got Caitlin Clark. And then after Caitlin Clark, I'm forever grateful that Lucy Olson she was our portal, and she chose to come, but then held with all the coaching change and everything. So she made it to the pros and stuck. She was on the Washington Mystics.
Yep.
So that's a lot of years. I love
she's going to. And she's going to play in Europe. I just saw she's flying over to play in Europe.
Australia, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So she's making, doing a great job, got a great contract down there. So that's the one thing. I love our point guard. She's a Georgia Tech portal transfer. Her name's Chit Chat Wright. And people are going to love her. She's a little bitty thing, but she's fast. If you follow Hawkeye football ever or any small back, she reminds me of Freddie Russell.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Good name.
Guys, right? So I'm hoping she's going to help in those press breaks, especially. But she's a sweetheart, and she's just really young, right? Because she's coming in. She ended up starting at Georgia Tech at the end, but now you got 9 new freshmen, 5 freshmen, and a portal kids plus our sophomores. So that's a lot to lead and learn a new system. But I love my pieces. I love them. If we can just figure out how to get them flying in the right direction, I think we could have a shot at a really, really fun year. I usually wait a little bit. I'm not trying to be coy. I just need to navigate a little longer. We're just starting to really get most of our stuff in. I got a ways to go with some defensive stuff on our presses, but we're going to start consistently playing our male practice squad. I'll start consistently now trying to get a 7 or 8 that I like. Right now, everybody's equal opportunity. So when we start putting a little bit more consistency, then I start to let my mind go, okay, where do I think that we can get? But in coaching, the one thing is what I think is I need to instill that into what they're going to think. So we have a pretty good conversation at some point before we really get going, just to see, I really believe that they need to have a say in what we're shooting for. So I feel cautiously optimistic about the chances.
Love it. Well, as you get more stuff, so I hope you had fun during our coffee conversation. If you want to go 3 hours, we can. But
let's do that next time. Let's just do that. We'll get a pot. I'll get a picture of this.
I got mine right here, Coach.
So I'll just take that as an agreement that you'll come back on sometime when we ask.
I would be honored. And thank you for all you do for sports in the Metro there. Obviously, my second favorite team are the Bulldogs, being the alum, but it's just it's great to have you guys. I don't always get to listen to you, but you come highly recommended. I feel honored to be on the show. So
it must have been Brandon.
You as well, Coach. You come highly recommended.
Yeah, you come highly recommended.
By all my relatives in Southwest Iowa.
Exactly. All right, Coach. We'll catch up soon. Right. Thank you so much.
You guys, go Hawks.
Thank you.
Go
Thank
Hawks.
you.
Bye-bye.
Jan Jansen joining us on the Rush Radio Show. That was fun. That was awesome. Expectation,
Ross. As Mr. Onden says. Coffee talk.
Exactly.
That's great, dude. I got to tell you real quick, when she says Freddie Russell on the basketball court, I see Andre Woolridge.
Oh,
remember Andre Woolridge?
How do I not know? I mean, he went to Omaha Benson. I mean,
he did.
Yeah, started his career at Nebraska.
He grew up right there by you in the sex superstore.
Oh my God! Why do you got to do that? Why do you got to do that? I don't live that. Yeah, okay, maybe I do. Everybody have a great Monday. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. with the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
It's Body Armor. Real hydration with electrolytes. No artificial dyes and coconut water. Choose better. Body Armor.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
The wait is over. The end of summer closeout on 2025 models is here. The most popular 2025 Nissans are priced to move, and we've got something for everyone. From the economical Nissan Kicks to the family favorite Pathfinder or the rugged Frontier, your perfect match is here. Get incredible savings, low financing, and limited time offers before the year ends. But don't wait. Once they're gone, they're gone. Stop into our showroom or visit us online at willisnissan.com.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.